Hello there, a very good evening to you. You're welcome to the weekend edition of News Tonight here on GHOne TV with me, Natalie Fort. Coming up tonight, GHOne raises concerns over reports suggesting poverty pushing people to sell their votes ahead of the December polls. Also coming up, Kolebu Dialysis Center to begin full operations next week after securing significant quantity of essential consumables. Tonight we bring you the inspiring journey of a woman who sells in a wheelchair, defying all odds to make it for the past 5 years. Also coming up, Chief Priest of the Ga State urges governments to focus on uplifting cultural heritage through Homawo as the Ga people celebrates the annual festival. And on the international front, Israeli strike in Gaza kills more than 70. The details of these stories and much more news coming up here on News Tonight's Tuesday. Launching news tonight. Let's get started now with the health sector as the Kolebu Teaching Hospital has announced that it has secured a significant quantity of essential consumables for dialysis, which is currently being processed for delivery from the Tema port. Management of the hospital in a statement said the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Ghana Supply Company are providing support to expedite the clearance of an emergency basis to ensure that the hospital continues to deliver top-notch care to patients. Now, this follows the closure of the renal unit of the hospital almost 2 weeks ago without any official explanation. The president of the Kidney Patients Association, Bafo Ahenkra, confirmed that 3 patients had died due to the closure of the unit. Meanwhile, the Health Committee of Parliament has strongly condemned the sudden closure of the renal unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. But management of the hospital in a statement noted that they anticipate that the outpatient section of the dialysis center will return to full operations early next week. The facility says it is working diligently to resolve the clearance process over the weekend, and it's optimistic that normal services will resume promptly. The hospital management apologized to patients and clients for the inconvenience caused and thanked them for their restraint and understanding. Well, more on that. We'll update you on that in the coming days here on GHOne TV. You're watching News Tonight, and we've got just a few months to the general elections. Let's bring you some election-related stories here on your Election Hub. On your Election Hub tonight, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, GHOne, has expressed concern over the rise in vote selling during elections. Co-chairman of GHOne, Reverend Dr. Fred Degbe, is attributing this development to poverty and hardship in the country. According to him, people who offer to sell their votes do the country a disservice, ultimately playing to the schemes that contribute to marring the country's governance. Reverend Degbe warns persons seeking votes to desist from the practice. As Ghana heads to the 2024 elections, he spoke on the sidelines of a public lecture at the University of Education, Winneba.
People are selling and buying votes as a factor of poverty or to enhance their economy. But as a civil society, as a pastor, as an ethical person, you see, what is a vote? A vote is your will, your choice, your conscience. So I'm educating you to know that, look, you are selling your conscience. you don't believe in the person, you don't believe in what he's saying, you don't think he's the right person. But because he's giving you some money, you are voting for him. If I may be biblical, we as a people must educate ourselves to know that it is wrong for people to sell their conscience. And those who are giving it, they are not respecting themselves. If you buy the people, you become their slave. If you give me money and I vote for you, you become a stooge. Okay? I'll control you, I'll threaten you, I'll blackmail you. Because I voted for you, I campaigned for you, I know what you did. You don't deserve the office, you got it not on merit. You cannot stand confidently and say, look, this is right, this is wrong. So we are compromising our own integrity. So the buyer is hurt, he's hurting himself, the seller is hurting themselves, and the nation is poorer for it.
Well, meanwhile, the Municipal Chief Executive for Efutu Assembly in the Central Region, Alhaji Zubairu Kasim, is challenging stakeholders, especially security services, to leverage technology to protect and deepen the country's democracy for good governance.
Towards a peaceful election in Ghana, collaboration among stakeholders in context of emerging technologies, we must show concerning worrying trend of rising hate speech and its potential to incite violence and show commitment of taking remedial steps to curtail it. The security agencies should strategically employ technology advancements in collaboration with other related stakeholders agencies to identify and clamp down potential hotspots and crimes before, during, after 2024 elections. The attainment of total peace and order during election seasons is a must and requires a collective effort of all stakeholders to safeguard Ghana's democracy. On this note, I call on all for hands to be on deck to safeguard Ghana's peaceful in this technological era.
In more election-related stories, the reinstated Central Regional Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Professor Richard Kofi Asiedu, has pledged to ensure the NDC wins not less than 20 parliamentary seats in that region. The chairman, who was initially suspended following some internal wranglings in the party, says he is poised to ensure victory for the party's flag bearer and its parliamentary candidates.
Addressing over 2,000 party members who welcomed him at the party office, the reinstated Central Regional Chairman of the NDC, Professor Richard Kofi Asiedu, said he's optimistic of a big win for the NDC in the Central Region. The chairman, who decried the current economic hardship, called for unity among his party members.
Campaign. House to house. His Excellency, the incoming President, John Dramani Mahama.
The NDC parliamentary candidate for the Owutu Senya East constituency, Naakoyo, said she is also optimistic of snatching the seat from the Fisheries Minister, Hawa Kumsin, since there are indications that the NDC is winning the Owutu Senya East constituency seat.
Because I know what he is capable of. I know what he can do. And I know he can deliver Kaswa, he can deliver Efasima, he can deliver Owutu, he can deliver Owutu Senya East, he can deliver Manchester, he can deliver Agbada East and West, he can deliver Central.
Well, still on the NDC, business owners in New Drabing South, including timber operators, phone dealers and mechanics, have decried severe challenges under the new Patriotic Party, the MPP government, citing issues such as permits denials, high taxes and harassment. The affected groups have therefore declared their support for the opposition National Democratic Congress and its presidential candidates, John Dramani Mahama.
About 400 operators and business owners at the timber market in New GHOne South have complained of persistent harassment and permit denials from the Forestry Commission, which they claim are undermining their livelihoods. Phone dealers in Koforidua also raised concerns over high import duties and taxes on mobile phones, as well as frequent police arrests for selling refurbished phones, accusing them of theft. The traders, who are worried over the decline in sales, also cited increasing illegal participation of foreigners in retail and phone repair businesses as a major worry. The situation was no different for mechanics at the Eastern Regional Capital, Koforidua Adam Magazine, who say they are struggling with the rising cost of spare parts, making their services increasingly unaffordable, hence not frequently patronized by customers. All these concerns were expressed when the National Youth Organizer of the NDC, George Opare Ado, and his deputies, as well as the New GHOne South parliamentary candidate for the NDC, Dr. Martin Ofe Otu, engaged the local groups. This engagement was part of activities preceding the NDC's 24-hour economy walk in Koforidua.
After 8 years of this government, they bet me any such around and say, Nebusiafo, any Japade, and Aquakudi, Abusiabako in some. Mummy system, the Kufadu Punia, Naba Wumie. The Kufadu Enia, Naba Wumie. It's your best remu. You want to say, Baby, Emamo. Mudidra, you see the Women's Bank Eba, Yama Menoma, Sabi, Mudidano, President Mama said, You're the back,
The National Youth Organizer of the NDC, George Opare Ado, assured that John Dramani Mahama plans to eliminate nuisance taxes imposed on imported goods by the current government, aiming to lower import duties and reduce prices for items such as mobile phones and spare parts. He described the proposed 24-hour economy policy as a transformative measure that will provide a conducive environment for businesses to operate around the clock.
24-hour economy Sinipa de bebre enye adwuma na se omunya sika ombotoma eda enema woton de ba beto. And that is what the 24-hour economy is going to do. It is going to create jobs, and the effect then they say me ye adwuma na me sika me sidai me bubo kios ama me bibi e den ya me hie dia na me dia ye. And I say sika okroma eni bre mba bebre. And Ugo trade the other day, tax forces in Kwegu Kwaineso. As I had to see my market, no, Unu Yaminkwa, any over paper, that's a crampo, no,
New GHOne South parliamentary candidate for the NDC, Dr. Martin Ofe Otu, pledged to collaborate with investors to add value to the timber industry by developing new wood products from sawdust, offering additional sources of income for operators.
Technology papa near the year a duafu fro sawdust nangasa ya dane nso dia ye duafu fro na ye dia boam ye dia ye nyoma ebe kwa anim na mu sawdust no yamfe jantum keke ezu.
Now, ahead of the official launch of the Youth Manifesto for the Opposition National Democratic Congress NDC, the party's youth wing has introduced several key policy proposals to be implemented if elected in the December 7, 2024 elections. During a room-to-room engagement with students at the Koforidua Technical University, National Youth Organizer of the NDC, George Opare Ado, announced that the party plans to introduce an automatic admission fee payment system through the Student Loan Trust Fund for tertiary students applying for support. Our Eastern Regional correspondent, Kojo Ansah, has more.
Ahead of the National Democratic Congress Youth Manifesto launch on August 12, George Opare Ado, the National Youth Organizer, has revealed a significant policy initiative designed to ease the financial burden on tertiary students in the country. The plan proposes that the Students' Loan Trust cover admission fees for eligible students. Speaking during a ceremony to create awareness, George Opariado explained that beneficiary students would submit their admission letters and a completed form to the trust, which would coordinate with educational institutions to facilitate their automatic registration.
Most people, when they gain admissions into tertiary institutions, the first years are always turbulent. They get admission, and then the admission fees is so much that they are able to pay. What the NDC is proposing is that when you get your admission letter, go to the Student Loan Trust Fund, take your form, fill it, and then leave a copy of your admission letter with the trust. They will then now write to the school and ask the school to register you so you can go to the process. So your loan, instead of the first loan being given to you, the loan will rather go to the school to offset the fees you have paid.
Deputy National Youth Organizer Ruth Sedo also revealed other aspects of the manifesto, including skills training programs and initiatives for empowering young women.
We are looking at a situation where employment has been automatic when you go to school to learn so that you can put whatever you learned. Yet our students, when they are done, there are no opportunities for them. And that is why it's actually the 24-hour is a game changer. One job will offer 3 opportunities to 3 different people, and the rippling effect that will have on them.
The 2-day campaign event concluded with a 24-hour economy walk organized in collaboration with the New GHOne South constituency, with large numbers of NDC supporters participating. Among other speakers, Deputy National Youth Organizer Osman Abdullahi Ayaraga criticized the current government and vowed a robust campaign leading to the December 7 elections.
Well, let's stay in the camp of the NDC as its flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, is excited that he has been exonerated by the Office of the Special Prosecutor over allegations of engaging in some acts of corruption in the Airbus saga. The former president, who spoke some days ago in Kumasi, said no claim of corruption has been proven since he left office. Let's take a listen to him.
Nana Chairman, we in the NDC do not place ourselves above society. We are humble and honest enough to submit ourselves to investigative bodies if a basis for it arises. Relatedly, I've been out of office for more than 7 years and 7 months. No allegation of wrongdoing has been proven against me, including the baseless Airbus brouhaha that this government. No allegations of wrongdoing have been proven against me, including the baseless Airbus brouhaha that this government attempted to clothe me with. Once again today, I say it's a pleasant feeling to stand vindicated.
Now, flag bearer of the governing MPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has been honored with the Intintan Kese Hene, that's the internet chief title, by the chiefs of the Nsawam traditional area. This title is in recognition of the lead role that the MPP flag bearer is playing in pushing the digitalization agenda of the country.
The NPP flag bearer was in the Nsawam area as part of his constituency focus campaigns in the eastern region. As part of the engagement with the people, he called on the Nsawam chief, Nana Kwabena Ansah I, who conferred on him the title Intintan Kese Hene, to wit, Internet Chief. Addressing the NPP leader, Nana Kwabena Ansah I praised him for the lead role he is playing to promote digitalization.
Digital agenda no beso manebano. Minim se bebaso, and it is possible. The nuntino, mimi hunisa, misimi abona kunya ufia ha. Ebefen Intintan Kese Hene. Kese. Edewono ama mani age dodo mehu sen kan ho mehu sen kan kru kesi nyina ho emu ay congested a esemo link to Nsawam ye won sase wo ha your capital.
Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, on his part, while thanking the chief for the honor, pledged to invest in solar energy when elected, and that his government will continue with the railway development program started by the current president.
Say electricity bill no ever so me pese Ghana free oil and gas na ye de ko solar power e free ye bekje aye electricity ama ye industries wo Ghana. Railway no is a game changer for Ghana. Young, especially two main railways, Eastern Line abefa the Western Line. Now, a transportation issues with commercial transport, passenger transport, no railway, no The
NPP flag bearer is expected to tour other parts of the eastern region, which he started last week.
A senior research fellow at the Institute for Democratic Development, Professor GHOne, is urging stakeholders in the electoral process to ensure that mechanisms are put in place to make our elections more credible and acceptable to all. Speaking at a seminar on EC procedures for electoral officers and publication of results, Professor GHOne said despite the challenges in the 8 election cycles that Ghana has had, they have been relatively credible and peaceful. He, however, wants more to be done to protect the gains achieved. Musa Lanza has more.
The seminar follows recommendations from the European Union Election Observation Mission after monitoring the 2020 elections. The observation mission, among other things, recommended that the Electoral Commission establishes clear procedures for the various officials to address irregularities during the counting and collation process, and that the Commission should ensure that detailed polling station results of the presidential and parliamentary elections are published on the websites of the Commission. Addressing participants, a senior research fellow at the Institute of Democratic Governance, Professor GHOne, said, despite the gains made in Ghana's electoral processes, more must be done to protect it.
I believe that we should all spare some time to reflect on Ghana's position and role in democratic governance on the African continent. Question is, we have already conducted 8 relatively free, fair, transparent and peaceful elections. We are going into the 9th election. Question, where is Ghana located as far as democratic governance is concerned on the African continent? Now, going entirely by objective indicators globally, our democracy, with all its imperfections, is not doing badly.
Taking his turn to speak on the 2 recommendations, Director for Training at the Electoral Commission, Dr. Sribo Kwaku, insisted that Ghana's electoral process is transparent and that there's no way the Commission can rig in favor of any political party.
There are no results that will be collated without the involvement of the political parties. But as he said, if you are losing, it's difficult. But going to an election with an understanding that it is a win or lose affair. There's no draw in an election. Have you heard? So that 2 people will share the presidency or parliamentary, it's not possible. So whatever it is, one will win. But if you are being cheated, request for the necessary anomaly. That's why there are guidelines on it. And we are going to put all these guidelines on our website and also develop the aid memoir so that each level will have how to handle it, how to handle it.
The governing MPP's Deputy General Secretary, Haruna Mohammed, who participated in the seminar, told GHOne TV that the current system will make it difficult for the EC to publish the results on the website, but that an e-voting system will make it easier.
The good thing is that if you lose at the polling station, you have lost. You can't change anything at the regional level. You can't change. Look, if you lose at the polling station, even at the regional coalition center, consensus coalition center, you can't change anything. That is why it's been said. The electoral commission team is telling you that if you don't protest or you did not ask for recount at the polling station, you can't come to the EC office, to the coalition, the consensus coalition center, to ask for recount, and that is it.
I will certainly bring you more election-related stories in the days ahead here on GHOne TV, Star 103.5 FM, and across all our sister stations. We are your election hub. Do stay with us. In some more news this evening here on News Tonight, the Okuapehene Oseadeyo Kwesi Ekufu III has urged political actors and all Ghanaians to prioritize peace and harmony before, during and after the December 7 polls. According to him, Ghana's democratic credentials among the Committee of Nations needs to be zealously protected as they serve as a bedrock for any country's development through foreign direct investment. He made these comments after leading his subjects in a health walk, which was a prelude to the 2024 Ujra Festival.
The 58-kilometer health walk, which started at the Ayimen Santal Boot and terminated at the Ebri Botanical Gardens, spanned over 2 hours, followed by an aerobic session. Speaking with the media on the sidelines of the exercise, the Okuapehene Oseadeyo Kwesi Ekufu III urged all Ghanaians to prioritize peace ahead of the 2024 general elections and beyond.
We are a peaceful country, so I don't see it to be that we have to make it any different. As for peace, of course, I always preach peace, and I believe that we are our own keepers. And if I'm not taking care of you, I'm not taking care of the other one. How are we going to go on? You know, that's how development actually goes place, and that's when you have a country that's going to build up together.
The Okuapehene further admonished that no one should compromise on their health, since good health is linked to high productivity.
The different type of exercises that we do here all comes in together to actually breed good health, and I believe this is a campaign that everybody should be joining. Yeah, I mean, I've already told my people of Ekuapem to engage in health activities, especially cardio, since we have this beautiful weather here. So we believe that doing this every year will get us far, and I believe it is good for the youth as well to get people together, engagement, and coming up with a common idea to help the whole Kwapema and Ghana as a whole.
Some notable personalities that took part in the health walk included the NPP parliamentary candidate for the Ekuapem North constituency, Sami Ewuku, and the MCE of Ekuapem North Municipal Assembly, Berima Asiedu Labi.
You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. And one of our top stories this evening, unlike any other persons with disabilities who may resort to begging on the streets, Elizabeth Bwediwa is defying the odds. For the past 5 years, she has navigated the busy streets of Tema, not to ask for help, but to make an honest living by selling in traffic in her wheelchair. In this report, Wendy Nate sits with Elizabeth as she shares her story of resilience.
Meet Elizabeth Bwediwa, a familiar face to many drivers in Tema Community 1. Despite being confined to a wheelchair due to her disability, Elizabeth has not let her condition define her. For 5 years, she has been a fixture on these streets, moving from car to car in her wheelchair while hawking lemons neatly arranged on a tray on her head with an ever-present smile. She tells me she began hawking because the idea of having to beg embarrassed her.
I feel too shy to beg for money. That is why I started my business.
Her determination and work ethic have earned admiration from people who cross her path daily. She currently takes shelter in a government school because she is homeless.
People do not mistreat me. They rather admire me. I sleep in the Presbyterian school.
Despite her positive outlook, Elizabeth has her challenges. For instance, whenever it rains, she often ends up soaked because of the difficulty in finding shelter. Again, with little to no support from her family, Elizabeth often goes hungry.
I find it difficult when it rains. My children send me an insufficient amount of money when I call them.
Despite her difficult circumstances, Elizabeth remains determined to push forward. She dreams of expanding her small business, hoping to sell jerseys and shoes to increase her income.
I want to expand and sell jerseys and shoes.
Her situation is a stark reminder of the challenges faced by many persons with disabilities in our society. Yet, despite the odds stacked against her, Elizabeth has a message of hope for others who find themselves in her shoes.
It can happen to anyone the way it happened to me. Don't kill yourself if you find yourself in this situation.
Her words resonate deeply, a testament to her incredible strength and resilience. Elizabeth is not just surviving, she is striving to live with dignity and purpose against all odds. For GHOne News, Wendy Natalie.
Well, certainly an inspiring story there. You're watching News Tonight. Let's turn to education now. The Deputy Minister of Education, GHOne has showered praise on Ghanaian teachers for their global competence. According to the minister, teachers in Ghana are among the best in the world, assuring of government's continued support to the profession. He made these remarks at the maiden edition of the Ghana Education Service Outstanding Achievement Awards in Koforidua, which saw Tekpete Michael, a tutor at the Ebuakwa State College, Abusco, crowned overall best teacher.
The maiden Ghana Education Service Outstanding Achievement Awards held in Koforidua saw 66 teaching and non-teaching staff selected for awards out of 405 entries. 100 persons were initially shortlisted from the total number of entries, after which the outstanding GES staff were honored with citations, plaques, refrigerators, flat screen TV sets, gas cylinders, cooking stoves, among others. Michael Tekpete, a teacher at the Ebuakwa State College, Abusco, was honored as the overall best teacher. Michael Tekpete, who teaches economics and has 15 years of experience, received a brand new saloon car donated by Dr. Kingsley Ajiman, NPP parliamentary candidate for the Abuakwa North constituency. The excited teacher shared how the honor done him will motivate him to do more.
I'm grateful to God Almighty for giving me this honor. I have done a lot as in my area of teaching and then even out of class. My participation in even reforming the electoral system in my school, that is my former school, and then currently my secondary school, which is Ebuakwa State College. I am very particular about my students' development, and so that is what has earned me this prestigious award.
Speaking at the award ceremony themed Inspiring change, recovery begins with teachers. Deputy Minister of Education, GHOne Fojo, praised Ghanaian teachers for their global competence, pledging government's continuous support for the profession and education in general.
We are proud of the contribution of our teachers. Every nation cannot do without teachers. Regardless the natural resources endowment any country may have, oil, gold, bauxite, timber notwithstanding, the surest guarantee of a country being on the path of rapid socio-economic development is when the right investments are put into education, is when the right reforms are undertaken in education, and when we have education that responds to the needs of the country and builds the critical mass of the population with the skills needed to thrive, to make a difference both at home and abroad.
Eastern Regional Director of Education, Dr. Ivy Asantewa Owusu, commended all teachers for their professionalism and creativity in teaching amidst challenges.
So the teacher teaches for income. The outstanding teacher does it with the outcomes in mind, making sure that there is no loss and there is value for time and other resources for total recovery. Within this, the enabling environment is created, the right approach is employed, and the learner becomes the center of attention towards the desired change. We believe that the child today is the groundbreaker tomorrow.
Former Vice Chancellor of UCC, Professor Emmanuel Adu Obin, who was chairman of the event, emphasized the broader impact of empowering teachers on national development.
It is the teacher in the classroom who is able to help us to address these issues. It is in the classroom that the seeds of recovery are sown. Teachers are not just dispensers of knowledge. They are architects of hope. Teachers give hope. Teachers give us what it takes for us to be resilient.
The award categories covered various educational roles and included accolades for schools in hard-to-reach areas, drivers, caterers, administrative staff, among others.
A powerful new book, Adamu the Child Miner, has been introduced by Adrinsa Publications to educate and empower children against the devastating impacts of illegal mining, commonly referred to as galamsey. Written by entrepreneur Esther Sewa Asiedu, the book tells the true story of a 10-year-old boy who narrowly escaped being forced into illegal mining activities in Ghana's western region.
For centuries, mining has been an essential part of the world's economy. However, in Ghana, the recent surge in illegal mining or galamsey has wreaked havoc on the environment, devastating river bodies and ecosystems, and raising global concern. Galamsey refers to an authorized small-scale mining that violates both mining regulations and environmental laws.
Our water sources are being contaminated at an alarming rate, with toxic chemicals, plastic and waste seeping into our rivers, lakes and oceans. This is not just an environmental issue, it's a human rights issue. Access to clean water is essential for our survival, yet we are allowing corporations and individuals to prioritize profits over people.
Under Ghana's Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, illegal miners are defined as those who engage in mining without required mineral rights. The repercussions of illegal mining are severe, posing significant environmental, social, and economic risks and undermining the country's sustainable development goals. The situation has been exacerbated by the lack of law enforcement, with the economic impact of illegal mining reaching staggering levels. According to Crawford and Boucher 2018, Ghana lost about 2.3 billion cedis in tax revenue between 2010 and 2017 due to illegal mining activities.
Whilst we pollute our waters, we poison our future. It resonates so well with what is going on in our country, Ghana. It also indicates the negative consequences of polluting our water bodies through indiscriminate acts like mining.
In response to this crisis, GHOne Publications has published Adamu the Child Miner, a book aimed at educating children about the dangers of illegal mining and its far-reaching negative consequences.
Because the waters that we are drinking, it will come to a point where you go and fetch water and you'll be drinking minerals. If we don't educate our children, they will also join the band in wasting it.
The GHOne Children's Show is an integral part of an ongoing book exhibition in Accra aimed at promoting awareness and education among the youth.
To identify such issues when they are presented before them, Adamu in the story was able to identify the problems that is associated and was able to go further.
The GHOne Children's Show, themed Poisoning Our Water, Poisoning Our Future, is a timely reminder of the critical situation Ghana is faced with and underscores the dire consequences of water pollution caused by indiscriminate acts like galamsey.
In other news, Member of Parliament for Tamale North Alhaji Al-Hassan Suhini has charged Muslim civil society groups not to avoid addressing political issues related to the Hajj pilgrimage. He says incorporating politics into these discussions would pressure political leaders to address the challenges of the annual pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia and ensure greater accountability. The lawmaker, who previously served as the spokesperson for the Hajj board under the erstwhile Mahama administration, made these remarks during the 2024 Hajj Dialogue series with stakeholders in Tamale, the northern regional capital.
The Hajj Dialogue series, organized by the Patriotic Muslim Front and Lead Gate Foundation, serves as a platform for stakeholders to engage in discussions before and after the annual pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia, addressing a wide range of issues and proposing solutions to ensure a smooth process. However, recent announcements by the Ghana Hajj Board regarding charges for the 2024 pilgrimage and projections for the 2025 have raised significant concerns within the Muslim community. Speaking at a Hajj Dialogue series in Tamale, the regional capital of the northern region, the MP for Tamale North, Alhaji Al-Hassan Suhini, urged the Muslim community and those involved in organizing the Hajj in Ghana not to shy away from bringing Hajj-related issues into the political discourse.
We should not be shy of associating politics with the problems that we want addressed, because the purpose of politics is to solve our problems. And so when we make issues political, we force our political leaders to make commitments to resolving it and then eventually be held responsible when they fail in resolving it. But when we shy away and say, oh, this is a national conversation, this is non-political, then we insulate our political leaders from their responsibilities.
On his part, Alhaji Salman Faris Ayuba, a representative of the Ghana Hajj Board, emphasized that the Hajj Board cannot be solely blamed for the challenges associated with pilgrim activities, noting that the complexities with the Hajj extend beyond just the exchange rate issues.
One is beyond exchange rate. It has to do with domestic regulations of Saudi Arabia. It also has to do with VAT and then taxes and then services we used to enjoy for free. Now we have to pay for it. And all this culminates into the pricing of Hajj.
However, over 9,000 Ghanaian pilgrims resorted to using unapproved channels due to high cost, while only 4,000 went through the proper channels. Tragically, 15 lives were lost due to heat exhaustion. In response, the president of the Patriotic Muslim Front has urged the government to intervene and negotiate a favorable exchange rate to help reduce prices for the 2025 Hajj pilgrimage.
You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Do stay with us. We bring you business news shortly. In business news this evening, the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Andrew Ejapa-Mercer, has extolled the contributions of hoteliers to the development of the Ghanaian economy. According to him, Ghana is taking commanding heights on the continent in hospitality due to the excellent services that are being rendered to both international and domestic tourists by hoteliers across the country. He remarked the opening of a 1,000-seater multi-purpose events pavilion at the Elisa Hotel, Northridge in Accra.
According to Statista, hotels and restaurants contributed around 3.9 billion Ghana cedis to the country's gross domestic product, with a projected figure of $3.3 billion in 2025. Against this backdrop, the Minister for Arts, Tourism and Culture maintains that hoteliers' contributions are indispensable to the Ghanaian economy.
It is the position of government that the role of hoteliers in Ghana cannot be relegated to the background. It is key to our collective tourism growth and prosperity as a nation. No developed nation or nations that aspire to advance have succeeded in its development agenda without giving priority to tourism, arts and culture.
Speaking on the sidelines of the event, the Group General Manager of the Alisa Hotels, Yusuf Olela, indicates that the growing demand by clients for a bigger event center drove the company's passion to add the pavilion to its portfolio. He further highlighted some challenges confronting the industry.
It's a conference facility or event facilities that has a capacity to a maximum of 1,000 delegates. The motivation behind this investment is actually one to address the demand for a larger conference capacity. Our pre-existing conference facilities could only host up to 500 delegates. The one that we've just launched would host up to a maximum of 1,000 delegates. But beyond just the conference facility, we've also just unveiled one of the outlets called the Oasis Lounge, and also added to it purpose-built executive boardrooms. One of them is where you are conducting this interview.
The over 1,000-seater pavilion boasts of a sophisticated cooling system, Oasis Lounge, executive boardrooms, spacious garden, among others.
Well, that's all the business news you've got for you this evening. Do stay with us. Watching news tonight. Next in the bulletin, we bring you entertainment news. On his own tonight, the chief priest of the Ga state, Nai Wulomu, has called on the government to pay closer attention to the Homowo festival with a focus on promoting and uplifting cultural heritage. He emphasized that there are several aspects of the festival that, if given proper attention, could generate more revenue for the country. The Nai Wulomu shared his thoughts with GHOne News during the Twins Festival celebration, which forms part of activities preceding the Homowo Festival, which is being celebrated today.
In August every year, the Ga people of Accra celebrates the Homowo Festival to signify the abundance of corn or food and to hoot at hunger. Before the annual celebration, there are several cultural activities including the Twins Festival, known locally as the Haji Ayeleyeli or Yeyeye Festival. The Twins Festival is done on the Friday before the Homowo Festival itself on Saturday, and this sees the whole of Gamashi come alive with merrymaking. The Twins Festival is a special celebration of twins of all ages, traditionally believed to bring good luck. The twins usually have special spiritual baths and dress in white calico. They feast on the mashed yams, popularly called oto, and eggs, after which the twins and all other persons are bathed with water from a basin of herbs. Families and loved ones of the twins parade through the streets of the town to the spiritual house of Gamashi, chanting and singing to traditional tunes to dispose of the basin full of herbs and other items While speaking on the significance of the festival, Chief Priest of the Ga State, Nai Wulomo, urged the government to take critical look at the Homo Festival and the numerous cultural activities that precedes or follows it. He is of a strong belief that can boost the country's tourism and bring in more revenue.
We have a particular culture that describes us, and then leaving those ones and then imitating other ones, then we are trying to deny our heritage and our roots. The Ga Homoa itself is a festival which has not been really studied to know the content or the concept within which the Homoa is being celebrated. But I want to put across to let everybody know, especially the government know, that these things are all events which has compiled together to form the Homo Festival. So believing that if we are trying to have a heritage upliftment here in Ghana, we shouldn't forget the Homo Festival, especially the sprinkling of the Kukuin and then the Twin Festival. That is going to bring much more foreign exchange.
The Nai Wulomo further advised the youth and the general public to live peacefully and avoid causing mayhem as the country prepares to go to the polls.
It's an election year. Campaign is booming. The youth, especially the Ga people, the Kadangwe people, that we shouldn't get ourselves involved in petty fights. We shouldn't get ourselves involved in mob attack. All those things are not good. We should agree to disagree for the progressiveness of the Ga State and then the entire country. And also, we should have the habit of living peaceful among ourselves and understand each other. Election is election. Election is one day. Campaign is about 4 months. When we fight and then we've done with the elections, we go back home and see the same brothers and sisters of ours, those we fought during the election. So
the news team spoke to some twins who expressed joy over the celebration.
No ukenu shuoshi no fi okusun ni mo yebu abo ne gbele ogban han abo no ke fi ono ni asanu ofe no oba wala pe jinu no wo fo kan wo cheme ke wo nyeme ke wo na me neji amesefe wo ke kaya ame wo fi ono ni asanu wo fe ni eyebu awo.
Well, that's all the entertainment news we've got for you. Let's take some more local stories before wrapping up. Now, some residents of Glefe and Shiabu in the Ablekuma West municipality are relying on hope for government's intervention to free them from the continual invasion of their homes by tidal waves. Most of the residents have had their homes constantly submerged by water as a result of the waves, forcing some to relocate, and those without money to rent new homes have resorted to perching with relatives and friends. Lambert Lamte was in the area and filed this report.
Atamami is one of the many residents here at Shiabu who lost their homes to tidal waves. Others who have been rendered homeless now have to perch with family and friends, while others have been forced to relocate to other parts of Accra.
You say Beblia, Omo to be or behind down to 2 Ekodukrum. The owner sit down crowd has to cross or to call the bushman fee, a bloom with choco and a basic density here. So, people down, Beblia said to come Omukrum choco. And I'm a Hanada. The way how crowd here, Dana is saying, near the papa, Nina, Chilebubu, and the police at the team. It's even now by my yes, a lot
of families have vacated because their homes, their rooms, their houses have been destroyed.
With cracked walls and no money to relocate to other places, some of the affected residents are forced to continue living here. According to the residents, their plight worsened due to the incomplete construction of the sea defense wall in the area.
First year, if we bear me kayaton, so if we bear me kayaton, we need to fire be. We're not be kayaton. She need abamamotuji ye be a yani it baba. I've been in a share ku, then about fear, sagete kaya. una kete huke ya wana ijole sini afete ku ye no ani insho ke afi na kante eyo ke ya iku be peje nke ya una be fiteje nke ya no te ene na afi no you are we unkete timu na
se le nsuo ni si ha ye no e bro adwene ntiase so e chese nsuo bubu dan na no amanfo sa de ball begu nsuo ra no a ze nya de papa toilet o mo ko toilet o pora no o mo de ball begu o mo de no fin begu e the city person there was say aban be fe na o mo be ye ho dwuma ye na edum bi no na ze akoy how bebre amaye.
For these residents here at Glefe and Shiabu, hope for the government's intervention is all they are.
Well, let's turn to some international news next. An Israeli airstrike on a school building sheltering displaced Palestinians in Gaza City has killed more than 70 people. Fadil Naim, head of Al-Ahli Hospital, were taken, said those were victims who had been identified so far, with the remains of many others so badly disfigured that identification was difficult. An Israeli military spokesperson said Al-Tabain school served as an active Hamas and Islamic Jihad military facility with approximately 20 militants operating there. Hamas denies this. The strike has been criticized by Western powers as well as regional countries, which have said it shows Israel has no desire to reach a ceasefire or end the Gaza war. Israel has attacked several such shelters in Gaza in the past few weeks. According to United Nations, 477 out of 564 school buildings in Gaza had been directly hit or damaged as of July 6, with more than a dozen targeted since. Well, we've got lots more international and local stories available on our website, starfm.com.gh. Thanks a lot for watching. It was directed by Nakwale, produced by Alice Aite. I'm Natalie Fort. Have a restful evening.